streaming. We're even early. This is what we like. Is my microphone alive? Let's hope and pray that people are actually going to join us. Because imagine if nobody decides to join us. That would be quite sad. Let's have a look as it notifies the people then. Oh. Hey guys. Okay, there's a few of you guys coming on. Hey guys, what is going on? Can you imagine? Look, just when I'm about to start live streaming. Yes, babe. I'm literally on live stream right now. You just called just as I went live. On YouTube. Okay. All right, bye. Yeah, I will do. All right, bye. Ben said hi, guys. See, he just knows when I'm in the middle of doing something. But hey, hope that you guys are all good. I have actually never done a live stream ever, which is crazy. I don't know why in all my years of doing YouTube, I've not done a live stream. It is terrible. But hey, how are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. I don't know where you are in the world right now, but here in the UK, it's currently 7:30 in the evening. So Friday evening, I know that people have had work, school, whatever it is. So I hope that you've had a productive day, a productive week. Yeah, I really wanted to live stream today. I've got some stuff to get off my chest. Obviously, Obviously, oh gosh, can I even do that? Oh yes, I can. I was meant to do, I'm not good. I feel like God listening. Listen, don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. You feel like God ain't listening. Okay, listen, do not worry, because there's a lot of stuff that I have on my heart that I really want to share. And I feel like God put it on my heart for a reason. So for you that's maybe feeling down, for you that's going for a rough time, for you that's really struggling, for you that is just not feeling 1,000% yourself, this is for you. Do not worry. We are going to talk. I've got a lot that I want to talk about. So yeah, literally going to give it another minute or so, let people come on, and then we'll talk. But hey, Nia, I hope I said that right. Hey, the woman, Victory, Marie B. Don't worry, Marie, we're going to talk. Hey, Mike. Oh, thank you so much, Simon. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. A lot's been going on. Hey, babe. Yeah, Ben is on right now. There he is. I can't believe it. I know. Shocking. Hey guys, I really hope that you guys are doing good. We're going to dive straight into it because I have a lot that I want to share with you guys. Please, as we're going along, feel free to type, feel free to talk, feel free to interact, feel free to give your opinions, to put your 2 pence in. This is where I'm allowing you guys to give your 2 pence. Keep it classy, keep it cute, all right? Nothing crazy out here, and we keep it PG, all right? But yeah, I really wanted to talk to you guys today, and I asked you guys on my Instagram stories, which, by the way, if you guys are not following me on Instagram, make sure you do. It's Nissy T, the same as I spell it on YouTube. Make sure you're following me. And I literally posted something on Instagram yesterday, and I was saying that I really feel the need, the desire to talk about how to fight even when you feel like you have no fight left. And I feel like this is probably relevant even to what you were talking about, Marie, saying that you just don't feel like God is listening, you're not in a good place. This is especially for anyone that might just be having a really rough time, just how to fight even when you feel like you have no fight left. Now, I don't want this live to be too long, but I've got a few points to go through. This is making up for the Wake Up Wednesday that I missed on Wednesday. So please do forgive me, but I hope that this will be enough. And also, hey, to Stella, all the way from Malawi. That is amazing. The fact that you're in Malawi right now and watching this is amazing. But yeah, like I said, let's interact, let's talk, let's have a conversation. But I've got some notes as well. So if I look like I'm not paying attention, I really am. It's just because I want to make sure I also touch on all the different things that I've said. But how to fight, when you feel like you've got no fight left. I think this was definitely me last week. And the reason why it was such a passion point for me is because last week I was having one of those weeks. You know, you can ask my fiance, you can ask Ben, you can ask even the people around me. I just didn't feel like myself. I was super emotional. Like when I say hyper emotional, guys, you know, people always seem to think that I'm some kind of rock, or that I'm some kind of person that doesn't really go through emotions, or I don't experience, or even if I do experience hard things or I go through a rough time, I'm just so put together and nothing ever seems to bother me. No, I'm also human. I go through my fair share of trials and tribulations. I go through my fair share of hardships. I go through my fair share of moments where I literally want to rip my hair out, take my wig off, just roll on the floor and just be like, I'm done. I'm over it. I don't want to do any of it anymore. I go through my fair share of them. But one of the things that I really recognized from last week is that, you know, I had no option but to continue. And I think the thing that really allows people like me and you, even in moments where we're going through a really, really difficult time, is when you have to ask yourself the question, what is the alternative? If you decide to literally roll down and die, what is the alternative? Is life going to get any better if you decide to quit now? No. Is the life of your loved ones and the people that you're working so hard to change their lives around, is that going to improve? No. So even in those moments where you feel like you cannot stand up anymore, you have to remind yourself that you have no choice but to get up. Now, what happens after that? Of course, it will take time. It's a process. I'm not saying that the getting up part is easy. I'm not saying that you're just going to click your fingers and you're going to wake up and you're like, oh, I feel great, I feel better again. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that when you force yourself into that place where you say, I have no other alternative but to still get up, because I know if I don't get up, it means that the dreams, the visions, the things that I have, the things that I've been working so hard to put together up until this moment will go to waste. You know, I think for a lot of people, some people even feel as though, you know, but there's nothing that I have to offer this world, or there's nothing that I'm even doing that's adding any value. Listen, let me remind you something. Let me remind you of something, right? The people, and the only people that no longer have anything to offer this world, are those that are dead. That's the reality of it. The only people that can literally say or think for even a split second that I no longer have a purpose on this earth are those that are dead. Those that are dead have done their part. They have done their part. Even if they only lived for 2 years, or they lived for 50 years, or they lived for 100 years, they did their part. They did what they needed to do. They've done their bit. They have gone. They are the only people that have the space, or that we can allow to say, do you know what? They've lived their purpose. They did what they needed to do. Their time came. They are done. You are still alive. You are still breathing. You are still here. So for you to allow yourself to go through this downward spiral, thinking or continuously saying over yourself that, you know what, maybe I just don't, belong on this earth anymore. Maybe I've done everything that I need to do. You do not have the right to say that until you are a dead person, until you are no longer on this earth. That is the only time things are done. Until then, there are certain things that you are, that you are destined to do. There are certain purposes. There are certain things that you need to fulfill on this earth. And you need to give yourself literally no room. You cannot give yourself any space to say, I'm going to just shut down. You can't. And that's the type of energy you need to come with. Otherwise, guess what happens is that you stay in that place, which was probably going to be temporary anyway. You stay in that moment, you stay in that emotion, you stay in that downward spiral, and you allow it to drag you into a pit of darkness where you do not belong. Every single person and every single one of you guys that's even watching me, anyone that follows me, I truly do believe that if you are somebody that is following me, it means that you are destined for greatness. There is no way that you are not destined for greatness, because it means that you are out there searching for something more. And as long as there is a hunger and a desire in the inside of you, searching for something more, it means that there is space for what? Space for growth, space for better, space for greatness, space for improvement, space for development, even if it's you just moving an inch one day. Because I know that there are some people that are probably watching this, that are probably listening to this right now, who just feel like, I might as well be dead, because I haven't even been able to get out of bed for a week. I haven't even been able to get out of bed for the past few days. Or even if I have been able to get out of bed, I've not been able to go one moment without crying. Again, emotions are not bad. There is nothing wrong with being emotional. When I was feeling the way that I was feeling, I think it was not last week, the week before that, I was so emotional, even to the point where I was asking myself, why? Like, I remember even asking God and being like, why am I feeling like this? Like, why am I crying? But one of the things that I've even got down here is that I was able to recognize that that was a temporary moment. It wasn't my forever. And that's where some people get it twisted. Some people go through these emotions and these bouts of these emotions. And because they now think that that's a permanent thing, just because they feel in that moment that they're not good enough, they feel like that's them. They've labeled themselves, they've stamped themselves, I am not good enough. Just because in that moment you feel like you are helpless, you label yourself as a helpless individual. Just because in that moment you feel like, I don't know, you feel like, you can't go on anymore, you literally label yourself with that. But one thing that's really important for you to recognize is that those are temporary moments. Temporary moments. Why? Because you are still alive. Temporary moments because you are still alive. The fact that you are alive means that tomorrow can bring something different. Or the day after that. It means that, like I said, there is space for improvement. There is space for growth. There is space for something better. If not, you wouldn't be here. And that's just a fact. And one thing that I really felt in my spirit and in my heart that I wanted to share with you guys was this. There is only resistance where there will be reward. And I'll say that one more time in case you didn't quite catch it. There is only resistance where there will be reward. The only time you will feel resistance is when you know that you are capable of so much more. Because if you in yourself already, imagine this, right? You are that individual that literally does not care about their life, doesn't care about their achievements, doesn't care about what they're going to do on this earth. You will happily sit there doing the same thing over and over again. You'll feel no type of way about sitting at home, doing absolutely nothing all day, maybe watching TV, watching Netflix all day. You'll feel no type of way. But the fact that you are sitting there every single day, frustrated, upset, you feel like there's a grievance in the inside of you. There's something inside of you that's like, I should be doing more. I should be achieving more. There should be something that I'm doing. The fact that your soul is grieved, it means that there is something more to come. There is a reward in the inside of you. It's sitting right in there. That's why you're feeling the most resistance. If there was nothing that you had to offer this world, I promise you, I guarantee you, you would be sitting comfortably in your house, chilling, watching Netflix. You would not be caring about anything, and you would just be waiting for the day that you would die. Literally, that's it. If you were literally one of those people that didn't have something that you were meant to do, you would happily sit down just waiting for the day. TikTok, all right, what day is it today? Day 235? All right, cool. Let's keep going. Next day, you will just be waiting for the moment that you die. But the fact that you are experiencing that resistance, you're feeling that tug, you're feeling that war in the inside of you, it shows that there's potential. There's something brewing. There's something brewing. And maybe it's just the case that you don't quite know how to express it. You don't quite know how to lay it out. You don't quite know how to lift the lid. Or some people, or you've been in an environment where people for so long have been telling you that you can't, that you won't be able to do it, that you can't do it, that you can't achieve, that you can't make it happen. Or people have been telling you that, look at statistics. The numbers say that you can't go to places like that. Do you know how many people? It's so funny, guys, because I don't really ever talk about this, but those that have been on my journey for quite a while will know that I studied at the University of Cambridge. So I went to Cambridge University. And before I went to Cambridge University, I experienced some resistance. There were some people who, and I'm trying to, read through some of your comments at the same time. I'm seeing some dumb ones as well. One thing I've noticed is that even those that seem to have it all figured out have issues. Some just know how to cover them well, or know how to go to, I feel, have issues and not alone. I think, yeah, 100%. Listen, 100%. We're in a time right now where social media likes to show the highlights, but as I mentioned to you guys, people seem to have this weird perception that even I don't go through things, or even I don't have my moments of emotion, frustration, or whatever it is. I remember I was even talking to my PA and I told her, because she was asking me, how are you? One thing about myself is that I'm very honest. I am ready and willing to be open about how I feel, what I'm going through. And 99.9% of the time, I am a very happy person. I am chirpy, I'm happy, I'm ready and willing to motivate other people. I'm ready to encourage other people, because that to me is a form of therapy. And that's something we're going to talk about in a second. But, being able to help others helps me. And there's something so beautiful about serving other people that allows yourself to be served as well. But I do have my moments where I get emotional. And so when I was explaining it to her, even she turned around and she was like, wow, so you are human. Yes, of course I'm human. We are all human. Not every single day we're going to wake up chirpy, happy and dandy, ready and willing to attack the day. No, there are some days when I wake up and I don't want to do it. I don't want to come and be Nissy T. I don't want to come on Instagram Live and good morning, beautiful people. I don't want to come and have conversations with people. I get people that will come into my DMs regardless of what I'm going through, because they don't see that. They still expect Nissy T. They still expect me to show up. Now, the only difference with maybe myself and other people, or maybe even myself and yourself, is that I don't give myself the option to stay in those momentary moments of sadness or grievance for long. I choose to come out of it. Now, I'm not talking about, if you are literally, because I know that there's a big difference. And I've spoken about this in my channels before, where there are literally some people who have, clinical imbalances, who, have clinical depression, all that kind of stuff. This is not by any means me downplaying those things. This is not by any means me saying that, oh, well, just get up, get on with it. That is not what it is whatsoever. Because like I said, for some people, it takes longer. For some people, they have to go through the motion. For some people, they have to go through the wave of those emotions. But all I'm saying is you have to remind yourself every single day, even in the midst of those darkest moments, you have to remind yourself that it is only temporary. Why? Because you're alive. So that means that there is space for growth, space for improvement, and space for things to get better. Even in that moment, for myself, I had to remind myself, I had to know myself enough to know, Nissy, this isn't you. This isn't you. You might be feeling emotional. You might be feeling sad. You might be feeling like the world is on top of you. You might be feeling like you're carrying the world on your shoulders, but this is not you. You have to go through these emotions. You have to go through this, and you will come out the other side. So you have to be able to remind yourself, even when you do not want to fight. The fight doesn't necessarily come in you being able to be like, I'm back on top. Yes, guys, I'm happy, and faking it. Because that's what a lot of people do. They will fake it. They will fake and pretend. That's not what I'm telling you at all. But the victory comes and the fight comes from you reminding yourself every single day, this is a moment. This is temporary. I'm going to come out of this. I know that I'm feeling like this right now, but tomorrow's a new day. And tomorrow I'm going to try. Tomorrow I'm going to try again. And even if it means months later, you're still trying. As long as you do not give up in here, I'm telling you, nothing else can shut down. As long as you continue to push yourself in here, nothing else, no matter how hard people try to bring you down, even if it's other people that are doing it to you. Maybe it's not even yourself. It's family members, it's friends, it's people around you. It's all these other things that are around you that's telling you constantly, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you can't do it, you can't go to that place, you can't study at that university, you can't do this, you can't do that. Even if it's those people, as long as in here, you remind yourself, this is temporary. I need to go through this. I don't know what it's for, because sometimes you don't know what it's for. You don't know why you have to go through those things. You don't know why certain situations come. But you know what? You keep saying, not necessarily why me, but why not me? What would you prefer? Would you prefer to look at your neighbor or to look at your best friend and let them go through what you're going through right now? I highly doubt that a lot of us would want that. Of course, we're in, we would prefer not to be going through that painful place. We'll prefer not to be going through those emotions. We'll prefer not to be going through what we're going through. But at the end of the day, we don't get to pick and choose. We do not get to pick and choose the trials and tribulations. We do not get to pick and choose the traumas and the awful things that happen to us. We do not get to pick and choose the horrible situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in. But how we react, now that is up to each of us as individuals. So as I was saying before, she's not here, she's better. Listen, I don't know. Listen, let people say what they want to say. Like I said, this is the time where if people want to add their 2 pence, I really don't care. I'm here for the individual that are here because they know that they want better. They know that they want more. They know that they are maybe not in a great place, or even if you are in a fantastic place and you just need a boost. That's what we're focusing on. So let's stay focused on what we came for. All the people that want to chat absolute rubbish, Good for you. But as I was saying to you guys before, so I'm just looking over at my notes, there is only resistance where there will be reward. When a good thing is about to sprout out of the ground, guess what they have to do? They have to push past the soil. They have to push past the dirt. They have to push past all the muck and the nonsense. That's where the seed is. The seed is planted in the ground. Excuse me. The seed is planted. This is how you know it's so real. I'm just out here burping in these streets. But that's where the seed is. The seed is planted in the ground, in the darkness. But then when those roots start forming and those roots start coming out, and that finally that shoot starts popping up, it comes and it grows, but it has to go through that. It has to go through the testing. It has to go through the soil. It has to go through the dirt. It has to go through resistance before you can finally see the reward. Anything that is great does not come easy. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'm just here to remind you. Anything that is great does not come easy. Anything that has value does not come easy. Anything that is to be praised or to be looked at and highly emulated does not come easy. Just think of all of the celebrities or the people that you love and you admire, from the Beyoncés to the Denzel Washingtons to the Taraji P. Hensons to the I don't know, whoever it is that you look at and you admire. Even, for example, myself, someone who I love and admire, Patricia Bright. I know that she doesn't necessarily go too deep into all of the things that she's experienced, but I am so sure that even she has gone through some things that she would never wish on her worst enemy. She's experienced difficult situations and difficult circumstances, as we all do. But look at the reward. We're only seeing a fraction of the reward based off of a fraction of the hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears that she had to put in. I'm telling you right now, if you are going through resistance, you're going through pressure, you're going through a difficult time, be reminded that the only reason you are going through it is because the reward that you are about to get, the reward that you're going to get on the end of that finishing line is so great that it could only come from a place of resistance. It could only come from a place where you are, where it has allowed you to be able to carry the weight of the responsibility that comes with it. Because that's something that people don't talk about. And let's talk about that for a second. The fact that great things come with great responsibility. People often talk about the glitz and the glam, and you see all the lovely stuff, the shoes, the clothes, the bags. And this is obviously just talking from a bit of a superficial place. But even in terms of rewards, like getting married, you know, I've spoken about this quite a few times on my Insta story. The fact that I am super excited to get married. I am so excited to spend literally the rest of my life with my best friend. But I also recognize that while that is such a beautiful reward, it comes with hard work, it comes with dedication, it comes with plenty of resistance, which I've been feeling and seeing already, because there is something beautiful that's going to come out of it. Look at a baby. That's even the prime example. Babies. How do women give birth? They don't give birth just like that. Women have to go through pain. They have to go through labor in order to give birth to something so beautiful. And then when they look at that child, you always hear women say the same thing. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but you always hear women say the same thing, that the moment that they looked at that child and that child took their first breath, it made every moment of pain, every moment of labor, everything that they went through, it made every single moment worth it. And I know that a lot of you guys might be watching this right now and you might not even feel like it. You might be like, how is this going to be rewarding? But I promise you, as long as you can still stand up and you allow yourself the space to say, do you know what? This is not where I end. I did not come this far to stay here. I refuse. I refuse to step down. I refuse to lie down. I am going to stand up. I'm going to keep charging. I'm going to keep pushing on. I'm going to keep pressing on. Even though I'm experiencing resistance that I've never experienced before, I know that there is something at the end of it. There is a reward that I have to get to. And when you give yourself no option, because that's where I am at, I do not have an option. I look at my environment. I look at my family. I look at our situation and I say, I don't have an option. I'm so sorry, but there are no options. The fact that you guys know I'm quite open about this, the fact that me and my family still live in a council flat, in social housing, for me, personally speaking, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. So I look at my environment and I say, no, I can't have my parents struggling month to month to make ends meet. That is not an option. So guess what? Even though I am emotional right now, this is not the time for me to allow my emotions to override my vision. I cannot allow my emotions to override my vision because I have no option. If you are sat there going through a difficult time, look at your environment. Are you happy to call it quits where you are? Because if you are, then do you know what? Absolutely fine. Go about your business. You can lay there, you can cry, you can do whatever you want, go through the motion, take your time, do whatever you want. But if you're looking at your environment, even maybe your family setup, your family situation, you're looking at the way people are talking to you, maybe even your job. You're looking at your own job and you're like, I know I was born for more than this. There's something in your gut that's telling you, I know that I was born for way more than this. If even for a split second you're looking at it, it means that there is still space, there is still potential for more. So how dare you give up on yourself? How dare you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to quit now? How dare you when people are relying on you? For me, I had to look at my environment and say, okay, Nisi, you're super emotional, but you've got a business to run. You've got things that you need to do. If you don't get up and get things done, your business doesn't go anywhere. You don't make money at the end of this month. So then what? What is the alternative? You have no other option. And that's what it is. I think we're in a time right now where people give themselves too many options. They're like, oh, well, if, I decide that I'm going to quit, it's okay because I can just live at home for the rest of my life. Excuse you? Like, are you crazy? Are you mad? Like, do not give yourself options. For me, it's success or nothing. That's how I look at it. And that's why even when I'm going through my emotions and I'm doing whatever, I give myself, okay, a day. I had 2 days, guys. And that's even the longest that I've had. And I'm going to talk about why I even believe that I went through that for 2 days. For me, that's long. Because like I said, I'm quite a happy person. I'm quite a bubbly person, happy-go-lucky person. 2 whole days where I was emotional, where I was crying, where, of course, I still had to show up. There were still things that I had to go and do. I couldn't stay in bed the whole day. I had to go and record something which is coming out in literally 7 days, guys. In a week's time, something is going to come out in a week's time, which I'm going to be announcing, which I'm really excited. But I had to go and record it. I didn't have an option because I remembered, I was like, okay, Nisi, what's the alternative? You sit in bed, you stay here, you cry, you weep, you feel sorry for yourself, or you get up and you get to work because you've got things to do. You have no other option. So you need to allow yourself to get to a space where you say, do you know what? Okay, Nisi. Okay, Marie. Okay, Lola. Okay, whoever it is. I'm going through this right now. Whoever it is that's on here, Lola, Lebo, Sweet Tooth Marie, whoever it is that, might be here right now. You have to allow yourself to be in a space and in a state of mind where you do not give yourself an option. You have to. And so you might be thinking to yourself, okay, it's all well and good saying, it's all well and good you saying, all right, cool, I need to override my emotions. I need to get up. But how do I override negative thoughts? How do I override and get to a place whereby I can literally reprogram my mind? Now, let me explain something to you guys. The mind is such a powerful tool. Our minds literally can be reprogrammed, just like a computer, okay? Of course, there are still more complexities than a computer. There are complexities to the mind, to the state of mind. And like I said, I completely accept and understand that there are some people who have chemical imbalances, some people who are going through, but even that, I truly do believe, this is just my personal belief, please do not gun me down or whatever, but I truly do believe that with the right exercises and with some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about now, there is a way for you to override, even in moments where you feel very like you've been in a depressed state for a long time. So you need to think of your mind like a computer. The mind has loads of different things going on inside of it. You have your thoughts, and obviously I'm not a scientist, so I know that, I'm not going to break down and be like, yeah, your cognitive side and you're this side and you're that side. Believe me, I don't really know how all of that stuff works, right? But what I do know is that the mind literally can control every other part of your body. When you learn to program this, you learn how to program everything else. For example, have you not noticed that there have been times whereby if in your mind you say, oh my gosh, I'm sick, you get sick. Like, it can happen. It's the truth. Try it one day. Tell yourself for long enough and just keep repeating, I'm ill. In fact, don't do that, actually. That's not where we want to get to. But I pretty much can guarantee that if you sat there for about a week every single day, just being like, oh my gosh, I'm sick, my body hurts. Oh, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. If you did that every single day for a week, I guarantee you will start to get symptoms that tell you that you are sick. Your mind is such a powerful tool. So I personally believe that if you can do it that way, you could also do it in the reverse. There is nothing that tells me that you cannot override the perceptions and things that you already have in your mind. And the first thing that I say to people in terms of learning how to override negative thoughts is learn you. Now you might be thinking, what the hell does that even mean? Let me read some of your comments, just because I don't want to feel like I'm ignoring you guys. So I want to read some of your comments. So Mike said, I'm in my final year of university, and as much as uni work is weighing me down and I have moments where I want to give up, I remind myself that I didn't come this far in vain and I've got a purpose. Exactly, Mike. That is it. You didn't. Especially when it comes to university, because I get it. I've been there, done that. Guys, I went to Cambridge University. That place, that place, yeah, can send you nuts. The amount of pressure that is put on you. Of course, I am so grateful. I'm so happy that I graduated. I've got my certificate hanging in our living room on the other side. I'm super proud, but it was so hard. But I had to keep reminding myself. I had to keep telling myself, Nissy, you didn't do this just for yourself. There are other Black girls that are going to watch either your YouTube, because anyone that's been following me for quite a while will know that I was documenting my time at Cambridge. Will watch your YouTube channel, will watch you, will watch your Insta stories, whatever it is, and will be inspired to apply to somewhere like Cambridge. Because not every Black girl, not every individual goes to places like Oxford or Cambridge. So people will be inspired. So Nissy, if you give up now, you are not just letting yourself down, you're letting other people down. Now, for some, that might be too much pressure. And that pressure can actually send you to the other side where you think, I can't do this, too much pressure, and it fries you. But for someone like me, who I've learned me, which is the point I'm going to make in a second, I have gone to the university of me. I know what works for me. I know that I can apply that level of pressure to myself and it makes me stronger. It makes me say, do you know what, Nissy? You've got this on your shoulders. Either you sink or you're going to get up right now. And I know that that works for me. So I would say to any individual who's going for a difficult time, do what works best for you. So if you know, for example, that you don't want the pressure of the whole world or every Black girl to be inspired by you or whatever. Not that I'm saying that every Black girl is inspired by me, but just that you don't want it to be like, oh, I'm doing it for Black girls, or I'm doing it for just girls in general. I'm just doing it for this demographic of people. Maybe it's just you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm doing it for you. Because that's the number one priority. I am doing it for you. You came to university even when people didn't think you were going to make it. You came to university even when people told you that you were dumb and you were stupid. You came to university despite the fact that you were the first person in your entire family to go to university. So you're going to do this for you. And the moment that you start to program your mind like that, I guarantee you'll be able to get through. Someone else said, Maribi said, but why does God make us suffer? I feel like I've been in the storm for years and I'm not going to lie, I'm ready to give up. Honestly speaking, I cannot turn around and say, do you know what? I understand suffering. I understand why God does it. I would be lying to you. I'd be lying to say that I understand the mind of God. I do not. I do not know why there are some people who, and just trigger warning, but yeah, I'm quite open, so I talk about a bit of everything, but I do not know why some people are raped. I do not know why some people experience pedophilia. I don't know why some people are abused. I do not know why some people go through traumatizing, toxic relationships. I do not know why some people have to starve and suffer. I honestly do not know why. And if there's anyone that can tell me, please let me know. I do not know why we have to go through those things, but I do know that whatever the outcome is greater than what you can even imagine. Sometimes you do have to go through those processes in order for you to not only appreciate, but to come out the other side stronger than you ever thought you were. For example, a bodybuilder doesn't get strong from sitting at home imagining how strong they could be. A bodybuilder gets strong by going into the gym every single day and going through the pain and the hardship of having to train themselves and discipline themselves enough to pick up weights every single day and to continue, even when it hurts, even when they're sore. Imagine how often a bodybuilder had to go through pain before they got to that place where they can stand on stage. Let's say a bodybuilding competition, before they could stand on a bodybuilding competition and stand up with all their muscles ripped. Imagine how much pain they had to endure. Imagine how much pain they had to go through. So I do not necessarily know why suffering happens. I can't give you those answers. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly speaking, I'm not God. So I don't know why certain people have to go through certain things. And some people, it feels like you just can't catch a break. Some people, you hear about their life stories and it's crazy. You hear about their life stories that they experienced abuse when they were younger, then they experienced rape when they got older, then they went through this, they went through that, they went through this, they went through that. But you know what? All in all, my question to them would be not why are you going through it, but what are you going to do with it? In the sense that don't allow everything that you went through to be a waste. Like I think that would be the real heartbreak. Not that it wasn't heartbreaking that they were going through those things, but I think the ultimate heartbreak would be if you are an individual who's gone through some of the most hardest trials and tribulations that people could have. Because there are literally some stories, like, I don't even know. There are some people that I've heard people tell me stories, guys, because obviously I get a lot of you guys messaging me and talking to me. And I've had some people who have messaged me and told me some of the most horrific, horrendous things. People that have been beaten up by their partners nearly to the point of death. I have just so many things I've heard, right? But for me, I would think, not why do we have to go through it, but what are we going to do with it? Because there is something in there that could truly bless somebody else. And I know that in the midst of all the things that you're going through, you're not necessarily thinking about anybody else. You're not thinking about how can I help somebody else. But I truly do believe that you could be the light. You are the answer to someone's prayer. Someone is out there being raped continuously and hoping and praying that they could find somebody that speaks up about it and that shows that they're a survivor so that they too can have the strength to survive. Someone is out there going through real depression at university, waiting for somebody to speak about it and to say, do you know what? I went through this, but I came out the other side, in order for them to have hope that they too can come out the other side. So again, while I don't necessarily know why we have to suffer, I truly do believe that it's important for us to find the purpose in that suffering. Maybe not in that moment. It might not come that day. It might not come for years. It might not even come for 20 years. It might be that 30 years later, then you finally see, okay, that's why I went through that. That's why I had to go through that pain. That's why I had to go through that hardship. That's why I had to come from a broken home. That's why I had to come from a low income family, come from a family where money has always been scarce. That's why I had to come from an environment where if we didn't, we weren't able to do certain things, we'd have to go to a food bank to get food. I had to come from that environment. I didn't ask for it. I certainly don't know anyone that would want to come from certain environments that people like myself or yourself come from. But that's the card that we've been dealt. So what do we do about it? And it all goes back again to learning you. And that's the point that I wanted to make very quickly before I go back into your comments. I wanted to say, learning you, learning how to read yourself. So something about myself is that over the past few years, I have taken out the time to actively learn about myself. I've spoken about in videos before where I've said, we go to university to study English, study math, study science, study whatever it is. But why is it that we don't go to the University of You? The one person that you will carry that literally you will have for your whole life is you. So why is it that we do not take out the time to understand ourselves, to understand what we like, what we don't like? When you even go and ask someone, what are your pet peeves? Some people don't even know. Some people genuinely sit there and are like, what don't I like? When you ask somebody, but when you ask somebody about somebody else and you say, oh, maybe their favorite celebrity or their favorite icon or whoever it is, they could read you everything about that person. But then when it comes about yourself, you have nothing worthy to say. How can you, excuse me, I'm so sorry I keep burping, guys. This is the real me. So this is the bits that you guys don't see when I edit my videos. This is literally the real me. Disgusting. But why is it that we can talk about other people so much? We can go in depth. Or when, for example, it comes to promoting somebody else, we can promote them. But then when it comes to us, we feel some type of way. We shrink into our shells, like we're not worthy, like we're not good enough. No, it's time for you to go to the University of You. It's time for you to take out the time to learn more about yourself. So whether that be in the form of sitting down and journaling, taking out the time to interact with yourself outside of social media, outside of the noise of other people, outside of your family, because sometimes family can be crazy, I know, but outside of all of that, just taking out the time to go to the University of You, where you think, you really do take the time out to think about who you are as an individual. What do you like? What do you not like? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What gets you ticking? What what just who are you? Discovering who you are. And that might come in the form of literally writing things down or recording videos. You don't have to release it to anybody, but maybe you just sit in front of a camera and you just talk. You go through that motion of breaking down your emotions and your feelings. Who are you? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you somebody who is passionate about people? Are you passionate about solving problems? Are you passionate about law? What is it that makes you you? And when you start to go through the University of You and you start understanding who you are, that is when you can then start overriding those negative thoughts. So, for example, when I was going through those emotions a couple of weeks ago, I knew, I could tell myself, because I know myself, no, Nisi, you are genuinely a happy person. You are an upbeat, happy person. You were put on this planet. And again, because I've trained myself over months and years, where I have told myself, Nisi, you are here for a reason. You have been put on this planet with a purpose. You have a destiny. You have something to offer. I know who I am. So when those bouts of emotions come, when those momentary upset, whatever you want to call it, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, when they come, I am able to go into the backlog and be like, wait a minute, alarm bells, all of these emotions are going off, but wait a minute, no. This has to be temporary because you know who you are. But there are too many people who don't even know who they are and yet are trying to be happy when you haven't even dealt with your root issues yet. How are you trying to be happy when you haven't even gone back to actually look at yourself and dissect who you are? What upsets you? For example, with myself, I had to look at myself in terms of money management. I remember there being a point where I had to look at myself and be like, why is it that I can earn money, but I can't keep money? Or I can't multiply my money? And I had to look back. And it wasn't even just me looking back at myself. It was me looking at my environment, looking at my family, looking at the way my family have a relationship, the relationship that my family have with money. And I had to analyze all of that. And yes, it can take time. Yes, it can feel long. Yes, it can be annoying. Yes, it can feel frustrating, but it's important. You have to go to the University of You. There is no point you trying to build other parts of yourself. There's no point you trying to lay things on top when the foundation isn't right. So remove all of that stuff that you've got going on at the top, especially if you are someone that wants to build a business, a brand, whatever it is. Let's forget about all of that for a moment. Let's actually know who you are first, so that when those responsibilities come, you don't break down, but you step into who you always knew you were and remind yourself of who you are in order for you to progress and to move forward. So that's something that I wanted to say. If you want to override your negative thoughts, learn who you are, know your emotions. So there are times, for example, when I'm frustrated about something, I know where it comes from. I know because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, I know, okay, cool. It's because of this that I was experiencing this. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. And I know that it might help to go to someone like that. And if you feel like it one day, who knows? I have nothing against therapists, psychologists, any of those people. Maybe one day I'll need to go to a therapist or a psychologist. But for now, I think it's just been because I've done it progressively over the years. I have made sure that I've really understood how I am. And I'm very critical of myself. I allow myself to think. I don't just get emotional, then scroll through Instagram all day, or get emotional and go and start talking rubbish about people. No. I'll get emotional and actually be there thinking, okay, Nisi, why are you upset? What's going on? Are you emotional because of X, Y, and Z? And what has that got to do with maybe your family setup? Or what has that got to do with the way the way you function as an individual? What has that got to do with your environment? Maybe you are angry because you've got daddy issues. Maybe you are upset because your mum wasn't in your life. Maybe you are dealing with certain things because you went through a traumatic experience. And if the more you take out the time to understand those deep-rooted issues, the easier it becomes for you to override negative thoughts, because you can then allow yourself to see those emotions and those feelings, remove yourself from them, because you can look externally and look at those things not as who you are, but as what has been formed. So, okay, Nisi is a happy, lovely, loving, enjoyable, hardworking, dedicated, passionate person. But Nisi also has moments where she feels emotional. But I can allow myself to detach. I can detach myself from those emotions. Why? Because I recognize that that's not who I am, because I took out the time already to understand who I am, if that makes any sense. I hope that's making sense to you guys. But I also understood in that moment of emotion that I hit a wall. For so long, guys, since last year, 2019, I was running and running and running and running and running and running and running. I was just doing things, working on projects here, working on projects there, doing everything. And then I realized that there were certain things that had come into my home, into my family, that yes, I had dealt with, but I didn't take the moment to just pause and be. And that's when I hit the wall, and I recognized that. I recognized that, okay, this is you just releasing emotion, because for so long you've been running this race, and you didn't give yourself the space to feel. Yes, you took on what was happening. You looked at what was going on and you said, okay, I'm not going to dismiss it. I'm not going to pretend it's not happening. But you didn't give yourself the space to feel. Maybe there are certain things that you experience, maybe even in your childhood or even in your adulthood, whatever it is, that you didn't even give yourself the space to feel. And then, of course, to heal from. You cannot start overriding your mental state. You cannot start overriding negative thoughts until you give yourself the space to feel, to heal, and then to override. And the other thing that I wanted to add as well, I can't believe I've been talking so much, guys. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to try and go through some of my points as well. The second thing that I really wanted to talk to kind of put out there in terms of overriding negative thoughts is learning to replace them. So whenever something is removed, there needs to be something that is replaced. Otherwise, there will just be a gap. And what often happens is that when there's a gap, you revert back to autopilot. You revert back to survival mode, what you knew. That is why for a lot of people, for example, who are addicted to drugs, when they are removed out of their environment and they're put into rehab in an environment that is conducive to their growth and whatever, and they remove all of those things, it's great. Fantastic. They might be in rehab for months, and after 3 months, they feel fantastic. They feel great. But if they have not done the work in order for them to replace all those moments where they might have had, temptations or whatever it is, if they don't learn to replace it with something else, I can almost guarantee you that when they come out and they're put back into the environment that they had once been in, they'll revert back to what they always knew. Or just like, for example, prisoners. People that are, certain prisoners that don't go through the proper rehabilitation process are often the ones that reoffend. Why? Because yes, they were removed out of that environment. They went into prison, they did whatever. Then they get put straight back into the environment that caused them to get into stupidity anyway, because they didn't do the work to rehabilitate, to focus on other things, to replace all of those negative perceptions and things that have been harboring them for so long. Because they didn't work on that, guess what happens? They go straight into the environment, they get straight into the same nonsense that they were in before, and they go straight back into prison, which is why even the prison system is just ridiculous. But that's a story for another day. But I always ask people, okay, it's all well and good you saying you want to get rid of these negative thoughts or negative things, and you're really working on removing certain things that have been holding you back for a very, very long time. But what are you replacing it with? What are you doing or what are you using to edify yourself? What are you using how can I describe it? What are you using to enhance you, to enhance the you that has been stripped back? Because ultimately, in order for you to heal, you have to go through all of this stripping process. You have to go through all of this painful stuff, and then you strip all of it back. Then you're left bare. So what are you going to clothe yourself with? Are you going to clothe yourself with more pain, more hurt, more anger, more frustration? Or are you going to clothe yourself with love? Are you going to clothe yourself with wisdom? Are you going to clothe yourself with, all right, I'm going to spend more time around people that speak life over me rather than negativity? Are you going to clothe yourself with, do you know what? I'm going to spend more time watching videos on how I can be get better in terms of my skills, or better in terms of whatever it is that I'm doing. What are you going to replace all of those negative thoughts with? Just like if you say, for example, that you speak about yourself in a very negative way every single day, you know that you wake up every single day, and the first thing that you do is you look in the mirror and say, you're ugly. Okay, it's all great. Me telling around and saying, don't say that to yourself. That's fantastic. But now what do you replace it with? So instead of saying that you're ugly, even if you don't believe it, you stand in the mirror and you tell yourself, do you know what? You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Your hair might be a bit crooked today. Your teeth might not necessarily be straight. But you know what? You're beautiful. You're perfectly imperfect. And as you keep doing that, it's like you're sending signals to your mind that's reprogramming your system, saying that rather than it being like, yeah, every single day, negative, 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 you are replacing all of that every single day, little by little. And like I said to you guys before, please do not think that what I'm giving to you are simple solutions. This is not something that you will just wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I am just a perfect person. I know that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm great. I know that I'm this, I'm that. No. It takes time. But every single day, it's like giving yourself a drip, an inch every single day, giving yourself a little tiny inch that is reprogramming your mind to tell your mind, actually, no, the way that we were thinking before is not healthy, and we can't keep on like that. We have to shift in this direction. So what are you replacing it with? All those negative thoughts, what are you replacing them with? Now, before I go into my last point, before I wrap up, I'm just going to quickly read some of your comments. So Candice Clark said, I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Oh, you're going to be, yes, I'm going to be in Ireland tomorrow, guys. I'm really excited. I'm going for a really cool, amazing event with Sammy's Comfort Zone on entrepreneurship, leadership, women in business, all that good stuff. So really excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow in Ireland. I haven't missed a Wake Up Wednesday since 2020 started. Thanks to you. Before I enter a situation, I spot my prey, analyze the field, and pounce. Yes, that's how you know. So that is making reference, by the way, to my debut ebook, which is called the Power Book Handbook. It is a very, very short ebook, which actually I would suggest for all of you guys to go out and grab. I'll put it in the link. I don't know how live stream works, so when I'm done, it's probably going to do like a YouTube video. I'll put it all in the link and you can check it out. Honestly speaking, guys, I know I'm a bit biased because it's mine, but honestly speaking, it's fantastic. I've heard nothing but great reviews, and it's very short. You can literally read it in an hour, and at the end of each section, it's split in 4 sections, 4 very short sections. At the end of each section, it gives you a space where you can write, you can annotate, so that you can actually make sure that you're not just talking the talk or just reading it and then you let it go and then you continue with your life, but you actually set goals and tasks as well. So yeah, see you tomorrow, Candice. I've been mediocre for a while. So this is Simply Benito says, I've been mediocre for a while, being satisfied with just the minimum. This really uplifted me because I know that I have been settling. I owe me so much. Yes, you do. You owe yourself more. And I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. Honestly, guys, everything that I do now, every bit of content that I produce comes from a place of being sick and tired. And one of my videos, my Wake Up Wednesdays a couple of weeks ago, was you have to be tired. I am sick and tired of people that I see that I'm like, you have so much potential. You could be so great. Or people that turn to me and are like, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, why the hell not? You can do it. You just choose not to do it. The only reason that I'm different and you look at me any different is because I decided that even though I sometimes get nervous when I go up on stage, when I first started doing speaking and presenting and all that stuff, hell yes, I was nervous as hell. But I made a decision that I didn't want to be mediocre. I didn't want to live an average and a normal life. So I knew I couldn't do what everybody else does. I have to do what people are unwilling to do in order for me to live an extraordinary life. And you've heard it before, I'm sure. You've got to do what other people are not willing to do to live a life that other people won't live. And that's me. You cannot allow yourself the space to be mediocre. You can't. I just believe that there is too much in the inside of every single individual on this planet for us to just live mediocre lives. So yeah, go you, do what you need to do and make it happen. upload this live to YouTube after, as I've missed some of the talk. Yes, I definitely will. I think there's an option to do that. I'm praying that it does not delete, because I'll be super upset. This is the first time that I've used live, but I'll definitely make sure that it goes up on my channel when I can. And I'll definitely be doing more lives as well. I like this. I like interacting with you guys as we're going along as well. This is really, really cool. I really, really like this. But anyway, just as I kind of wrap up, because I did say I didn't want this to be too long, but it's going to be an hour and I don't want it to be too much over an hour. I wanted to talk a little bit also about the pressure of being first. So in my caption that I posted yesterday on Instagram, I did say that I wanted to touch on the pressure of being first. First in terms of the first to go to university, first in terms of the first to like first generation in like maybe the UK or somewhere in the Western world, whereby you are literally taking lead. The first, and again, I'm just looking at my notes over here so I can touch on everything. First, in terms of breaking the mold in your family, maybe you've grown up in an environment or in a family like myself where money has not been the norm, where you guys literally like poverty is the norm. And money is not necessarily the norm, or maybe even the first to want more. So much so that you might even, there's some people that are probably watching this right now who have family members who are looking at you like, who do you think you are? Why do you want to do more? Like just join, I don't know, the family business like the rest of us, or just do this and do that and just kind of sit down and settle down, you know? And one thing I really wanted to talk about being the first, because I understand that it comes with a lot of pressure. And that's the first thing that I wanted to touch on. The fact that you have to recognize that it comes with responsibility. And again, it refers back to my first point. A lot of people try to run away from responsibility. And I say run towards your responsibility, because the more and more you run away from your responsibility, the harder it gets, the more difficult it feels. So I would definitely suggest to you that where there is responsibility, do not look away. The reason why this responsibility is important is because it reflects the fact that you were literally made to carry it. Now, I know that it's not the nicest thing. I know some people come onto things like this because they expect to be like, yeah, it's all going to be fun and games. It's going to be easy. It's going to be nice and simple. No. Let me be the first person to tell you the truth. The weight that I carry on my shoulders, but again, because I've trained myself over the years to recognize who I am, I know that is a responsibility that I'm willing to take. Why? Because I am unwilling to allow my family to stay in the same place. That's a responsibility that I put on myself. So maybe you have in your mind thinking, I don't want my family to keep living in this situation anymore. Or I don't want to keep looking at the kids in my area experiencing all of the things or the difficulties that I went through. Then you have to be willing to take up the responsibility. I'm so sorry, but there's no other way to do it. So learning how to recognize that there will be responsibility, and that does require you to take charge. It requires for you to take charge. You know, when you are the first to do something, when there is no blueprint, no role models, no one showing you how it's supposed to be done, no one truly showing you the way that you maybe want to do it. For example, with myself, I think I'm such an anomaly. I don't think there's anyone that's there's no one that's like me, okay? Nissy is Nissy, Nissy T is Nissy T, not even in a boastful way. You guys can take it how you want to take it. That's none of my business, but I'm just saying to you, there's no one that's like me. But I also recognize that I am the first, in the sense that first generation here that studied and, you know, is like studying, brought up, etc. here. So that's already pressure, because there's already an expectation of you, especially as someone who comes from an African home, where there's an expectation that you must look after your parents. That's just the expectation, right? For all of my Africans, they'll probably know the same. Also the first to detour from, I guess, the traditional route of work. No one else in my family is a content creator, at least not how I do it, for example, full-time. No one else in my family like does content creation full-time, has their own business, at least from what I know, doing it full-time. I am the first. So there is no one that was able to kind of be like, this is how you do it, this is how it works, this is what you should expect. There's no one. No one that can do that. And what does that also mean? Also, something that I wanted to point out is that it does mean that you will be open to attack that you won't or you can't predict. Okay, I'll say that again. That does mean, because you are the first, that you will be open to attack that you won't or that you can't predict. That is just a fact. There will be some wars that you are going to have to go through that nobody else in your family went through. Why? Because they are not paving the way like you are. They are not experiencing or doing things like you are. They are not willing to change the situation of your family, of your environment, of the people around you. They are not doing it the way that you are. That is exactly why you are going to experience attack. Whether that comes in the form of people that are doubting you, whether that comes in the form of people just being horrible towards you, whether that comes in the form of spiritual attack. I don't want to go too deep into that because I know that that's not what everyone is into. But I definitely believe in, my faith is really, really important to me. And I believe in spiritual attacks. Like, there are enemies, there are things out there, principalities and things that we do not see that can attack you because you are the first one. Because you are the one person that is about to liberate your entire family. You're about to break generational curses. You're about to shift things. You're about to swap things. You're about to change things, make them, flip them upside down. Because you are the first. Again, it goes back to that point of resistance. You are the first. You are at the front. So you will experience attack that you will not be able to, you won't expect. But the only thing that I can say to you today is that is where you ensure that, one, you know yourself, like I mentioned before, and two, you are ready. You are in preparation mode. So for a lot of people, even now, like for example, Maria was talking about feeling like you were going through certain things for years. Maybe the reason why you were going through it, again, I do not know exactly why, but maybe the reason why you are going through it, or you have to go through it, is because you are the first one. There is something that is so deep rooted in you. There is a seed that is inside of you that would literally, quite literally change the entire trajectory of your family's life. And that is exactly why you are experiencing attacks that your other family members will not go through, because they are not offering what you are offering to the world. They are not about to change your life, the lives of your family, the life of your friends, the way that you are about to change it. So there are certain things, and I want you to learn and to accept it, because the quicker you can learn to accept it, the quicker you can ensure that it doesn't kill you, that you can ensure that it doesn't keep you in a place of frustration and anger and upset and sadness and depression and anxiety. The quicker you accept that you will experience, it is just a fact, you will experience certain attacks because there's no one else that's done it like you. There's no other Missy T. So there's certain things that I'm going to experience that nobody else would have experienced. Why? Because I know that the purpose that I have on my life is about to change the lives of so many other people around me. So it's only right that I go through pressure. What do they say? Pressure makes diamonds, right? So sometimes you have to go through the pressure in order for that diamond to come out exactly how it needs to be. So that's something that I really wanted to really touch on, to touch on, is for you to remember to stay ready. So what does that mean? It means training up your mind every single day, going through, whether it be affirmations, going through watching things online, whether it be motivational videos, motivational content. I do that. I watch motivational content, sermons. Like for me, as I mentioned to you guys before, my faith is a big, huge factor to my life. So for me, sermons. For you, it could be motivational videos. It could be other, whatever it is, making sure that you're preparing your mind. Because that's why you see a lot of these individuals, like celebrities, the Justin Biebers, the whoever it is, the Lady Gagas, who go through these mental breaks because they didn't understand, or I wouldn't even say that they weren't prepared, because I don't think that you can ever be prepared for that level of fame. I think that when it comes, you just deal with it, or you don't. But I feel as though a lot of the reason why a lot of people, let's not even look at celebrities actually, let's just look at the everyday person. The reason why a lot of people go through mental breaks or go through depression or go through stuff like that is because they didn't take out the time to prepare themselves in advance, knowing that battles and hardships were going to come. I think we grow up really coddled by our families, and a lot of our parents don't really tell us that, look, like life is hard, life is difficult. You're gonna go through rough patches, and they don't train us from a young age. That's why even with me, with my kids, I don't want to scare them and make them feel like life is horrible, but I also want to train them up from a young age in terms of even mentally, just train them up every single day to know that when they go through a painful process, or they go through something that they didn't like, i.e. they're in a competition in school. I don't know, my son, speaking in existence. But my son goes for a competition. Obviously my kids will always be winners, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, my son is doing a competition and he doesn't win. He's going to go through something in his mind where he feels, I didn't win. What is this? I know that the people that are winning are being celebrated. I'm not, so it must mean that I'm a failure. There's certain things that we learn from a young age. But even for me, for example, I want to teach my child from a young age to be like, no, go through that process. How do you feel? How do you feel about not winning? Okay, now what are you going to do about it? Are you going to take it lying down, or are you going to train harder? Are you going to work harder? Are you going to push yourself more? I want my kids to be trained from a very, very young age to understand that battles will come at them. Things will fling left, right, and center, especially, like I said before, especially when you are the first. Things are going to come to you that you will not expect. Why? Because you are the first. But if you train yourself up in the process, it doesn't necessarily mean that it makes it easy, but it makes the process easier. And it gives yourself the space to take it on the chin and to grow past it. So I think that's the thing that I really want to kind of conclude on: staying ready. It's a hard process. I'm not saying that every day is going to be easy. I'm not saying that every day you're going to wake up feeling chirpy and happy. I'm not saying that every day you're going to wake up being like, yeah, I got this. No, it doesn't work like that. But you have to stay ready, and you have to confront, and I repeat, confront some of those things that you've been running away from for a very, very long time. Even now, I feel so strongly like there are probably some people who are watching this, who are listening to this right now. That there are certain things that you went through, certain traumas that you went through when you were younger. But because you come from an environment or a family that, I don't know, that doesn't talk about it, or whatever it is that you went through is a taboo, you've learned to bury it, but you're not realizing that you burying it deeper and deeper and deeper is affecting you more than you can even imagine. So whether it be that you need to start journaling, whether it be that you need to seek therapy, whether it be that you need to go counseling, whatever it is, deal with the deep-rooted issues. Otherwise, you will continue to mask things that need to be dug up, not masked. Not pretending that it's not happening. They need to be dug up. And the other thing that I'll say as well, and I'll end with this in terms of just staying ready, okay, is ensuring that you get to a place where you learn how to serve other people. Guys, let me tell you something. There is so much power in servitude. There is so much power in servitude, and we do not talk about it enough. The reason why so many of us are upset, so many of us are depressed, so many of us are going through such hard times, obviously outside from, again, like I mentioned before, and I'm repeating it because I know some people will try and gun me down about this, but outside of people who maybe have, clinical things or chemical imbalances or whatever it is, the reason why so many people are going through that is because we are so self-absorbed, so in our own emotions and feelings, like, oh my gosh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that you forget about the world beyond you. How I am so able to come out of a lot of the stuff that I'm experiencing and some of the emotional trials that I go through is because I really push myself to serve. I really say to myself, no, Nisi, you have to get up and you have to speak and you have to inspire. You have to bless other people, because that's how you are also blessed. Because even when I'm talking to you guys right now, even when I'm speaking over you guys, I'm speaking life over you, it's speaking life over myself. It's reminding myself of who I am. It's reminding myself of my power and my agency in who I want to be. So the more I am doing things for other people, the more I am being blessed. So really take a hard look at yourself and think about, when was the last time you did something for somebody else? There is something very beautiful about blessing other people, about helping other people, about supporting other people. Maybe you just need to get up and you need to go to an old people's home and just sit with them for a little while and just talk to them. Maybe you just need to go into a hospital and volunteer so you can help other people, in order for you to recognize how blessed you are to be able to stand up, to be living and breathing, to be eating without a tube, to be able to do whatever it is that you are doing. Or maybe if you are even listening right now and you're in a wheelchair, or you are having health difficulties, or you're going through a really, really rough time, the more you learn how to serve other people, you remember just how blessed you are. And you remember just how much you actually have to offer. Because a lot of the time people fall into that dark place because they feel like they have nothing to give. But I promise you, and I remind you once again, as long as you have breath in your body, as long as you are alive, as long as you are watching this video, I promise you, you have something to give to somebody else. And the more you do that, I promise you, the more you will get it back 10 times fold, 100 times fold, 1,000 times fold. You will see it come back to you. That's another way that you can stay prepared and you can stay ready, by learning how to bless others, by learning how to really serve, to really, really get down on your hands and knees and to serve other people. It's like we've lost that culture. People always expect me. I want to build my business. Okay, but the reason why your business is not going anywhere is because you're not serving anybody. Business is based off of supply and demand. Where's the demand? There's not even a demand for anything that you're even offering. Nobody wants it. So how can you expect your business to flourish, you know? So yeah, anyway, guys, I know that I've been going on for a little while, but I really hope that some of the points that I made today have served you, have helped you, have encouraged you, have empowered you, have made you think about things in a different way. I'm just going to repeat a couple of the sentences that really stand out, which are: there is only resistance where there will be a reward. So there is only resistance where there will be a reward. Remember that you are experiencing resistance because there's something in the inside of you that needs to come out. There's a reward coming, coming from it. Learn you, making sure you go to the university of you, understanding who you are, understanding what you like, what you don't like, what you're experiencing, so that you can actually base your emotions not just off of, oh my gosh, what's happening? But okay, no, I'm going through this because I haven't slept properly. I'm going through this because I haven't taken out the time to breathe. I've been working every single day, 7 days a week, non-stop. Give yourself a moment. Maybe you're emotional because you've been working stupidly hard and you haven't given your human body, which needs to breathe and which needs to recharge. Maybe you just haven't given yourself the space to do so. Or maybe it's because, you're going through those emotions because you are surrounded by negative people. Whatever it is, go to the University of You so that you can understand that, and also recognize that being the first, being the one that's going to go ahead, being the one that is going to change things around in your life, in your family's life, or whatever it is, it comes with responsibility. It requires you to take charge because you have to. You can't give yourself any other option. And it also means that you will experience things that maybe other people haven't experienced before, but that is all the more the reason for you to stay ready. And so I'm going to close with this, okay? And this is the last final thing that I'm going to ask. I'm going to just basically say it to you. What's the alternative? If you don't get up, what is the alternative? If you do not push yourself to be the best version of yourself, what is the alternative? Maybe for you, the alternative means that your family stay in poverty for generations to come. Maybe for you, it means that a little girl out there or a young woman out there commits suicide. And it might sound stupidly dramatic, but maybe it's that. Maybe that's the alternative. Maybe for you, the alternative is that your own family and friends lose hope because you've lost hope. What is the alternative? You not getting up, what are the implications of you not getting up? What are the implications of it? And you need to really, really think about it. But let me quickly go through some of your last comments, just so I can make sure that I've interacted with you guys as much as possible. Obviously, taught about rough patches. Exactly, Lola. They're not. And then they're like, things come to them and like, oh, what's going on? Can you guys help me get to 50 subs? I really appreciate it. Let's go and follow this person, the Meme Center. Obviously, if their content is appropriate. If their content is mad, don't follow them. Oh, wow. I was a soldier. I always served others, especially the weak, those that could not defend themselves. And that's a beautiful thing. That's incredible. Thank you so much for your honesty. Thank you so much for this. Your honesty, a blessing for this generation. Thank you so much, Delia. I really, really appreciate it. Nizzy, I really needed this pep talk. You are God sent. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so glad that I could help. Yeah, I'm just glad that I could help. As in career-wise. Oh, that's a story for another day, guys. That is a whole other live. So I'm going to go now. Otherwise, we're going to be here until God knows how long. I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on, for joining, for being a part of this. This means the absolute world to me. I really do hope that you guys can go. Do your thing, guys. And please, 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 please keep fighting, even when you feel like there is no fight left. I promise you, as long as you have breath in your body, you can keep on going. You can keep on fighting, but you have to make a decision to do so. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Do I say this the same thing? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, all of that good stuff. And yeah, man, please keep the comments coming. And I will definitely be doing another live very, very soon. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry, but I'm going. I've been here for an hour. I'll make sure that I put it up later. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.